These are the absolute worst type of 2K players you could ever run into. I personally guarantee that if you've played any more than maybe 5 to 10 games of 2K Online, you've ran into each of these guys at least one time. And if you haven't, you gonna learn today. So the 3 worst type of 2K players. Let's start with one that's been universal to every 2K since way back in the day. The mid-court charge takers. Fuck these guys. Have you ever just been walking the ball up court, and I'm not even talking about running, you don't have your finger on the R2 button, you're not in any particular rush, but you're walking it up court, and all of a sudden you know this guy is in charge position, he's trying to take a charge, and you're in the back court. And in the old 2Ks, what used to happen was you would get sucked into an animation. So back then, even if you weren't running and you were trying your best to get around the guy, you would still get sucked into an animation and it'd be a charge, it'd be a turnover. That is hands down one of the most absolute rage-inducing moments in 2K. Because who the fuck does that? Who in real life sees a ball handler coming and you guys are both in front of the half-court line, and as the defender tries to take a charge and risk the ball handler running right past him and getting a wide open shot? You are one of the worst type of 2K players, and we exposing people this year. At the end of every video from now on, I'm gonna have at least one guy, and his username is gonna be on full display, and we're gonna show each time during the game he tried to take a charge at mid-court. The good news is that in 2K19, it's way harder to be called for a violation with this because you don't get sucked into the animation anymore, but once in a blue moon, somebody will get you with this. For number 2, let's go with one that is pretty unique to 2K19, or at least it's the most overpowered in 2K19, the rise or the rebirth of the square spammer. Or if you're on Xbox, I'm assuming it's X spammer. The guy who just doesn't give any effort at trying to play on-ball defense. Forget moving the analog stick left to right and trying to lock down with the L2 button. No, this guy would rather just hit square and X as much as possible until he finally pokes the ball away. Because when NBA 2K19 first came out, that was the big thing, that these spammers, they weren't being penalized and fouls weren't really being called. And even as I make this video in November and the game is about to turn 2 months old, I still don't think they're being penalized appropriately. I've had at least 2 games so far where it's asked me if I wanted to quit the game because the guy had too many violations in the quarter. Those violations came from him square spamming. These are some of the worst type of guys because they're not the ones that wait to press square for when the ball is exposed. No, they're the guys that run up on you and they're just hitting square no matter if you have your back turned to them or you're standing, you have some feet in between. It doesn't matter. They're just spamming the square button in hopes that you're gonna walk into them or you're gonna do something, your finger's gonna slip off the analog and the ball is then gonna become exposed. They're just hitting square as much as possible. It's like throwing shit against the wall and just seeing what sticks. For both of the guys so far that have gotten that violation and it asked me to quit, normally I end up letting them live. I don't take the win that way. I get more satisfaction out of actually beating them than getting the automatic win. But if you're watching this video and you're a square spammer, fam, YouTube is a beautiful tool. There's plenty of tutorials about how to play good defense, how to play on-ball defense, how to set your defensive settings up so that guys can't blow by you all the time, or you have help defense or you don't have it, whatever, rotations. Just one video is all it takes, and you can make the 2K community a better place. You don't have to be married to the square button. It's an abusive relationship. Last, but certainly not least, and these guys actually just popped up with NBA 2K19, the rise of the Giannis spammer. Oh my god, bro. If you could hear my eye roll right now, I am so sick of trying to play tier 2 games and not playing anybody else except the Bucks. Be adventurous. Use a historic team, use somebody else. It's like I said when this game first came out. The Bucks, as you see in real life right now, were 7-1. And I said when the game first came out and I used them a couple of times that they are a tier 1 team because they have a demigod surrounded by shooters. That is not a tier 2 squad. And the thing that I found after so many games with the Bucks is that Giannis is actually a cheat code. Do you remember those days back on last gen when we used to create players? We used to create the demigods and they would be like 7 feet tall and they could do everything. They could dribble, they could be in the paint. That is NBA 2K19 Giannis. And the problem that has created is that there's nobody in this game that can play defense on him. He's way too big for the good defenders like Kawhi Leonard, and then most teams just aren't set up to where they have a super mobile power forward that's guarding a guy that really should be, like if we're talking traditional basketball, should be small forward. And it's not even just the fact that, you know, they're using Giannis because he's a good player, I get it, but that's all they do the entire game. They have shooters surrounding him that they never pass to. They just pass the ball to Giannis, speed boost down the court, and dunk on everybody that's in the way. Spin dunks, Euro step dunks, contested layups. He can do everything and no one can stop him. After the video I made a couple of months ago about Giannis being a demigod, I never used the Bucks again. I stopped using them because it wasn't fun beating everyone by 30 points. I'm not gonna lie, Giannis is fun to dominate with, but after a while I wanted some competition. And because of 2K's terrible tier system, which matches you up with teams outside of your tier, it doesn't matter if you're using a tier 3 team or a tier 1 team or you're using the Suns, you're at risk to be matched up with these Bucks. And just like the Curry spammers of the old days, who didn't like to do anything, who just like to cross back and forth and take long shots, these guys are just gonna use Giannis the entire game. Oh, it gets so tiring. This is one of the major reasons why no one's playing online anymore. No one likes using a team with traditional big men like Dirk Nowitzki, and then all of a sudden you're matched up with the Bucks and you have nobody on the floor that can guard him. Not every team is set up like 2019 where everybody can dribble and shoot. Mid-court charge takers, square spammers, Giannis spammers, you are the absolute worst of the 2K community.